I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with this short video. I have one table saw. This is a Powermatic 65. That means... So the 65 and the 66 are very similar saws, except this one has two trunnions up here, and the 66 has a trunnion... Come on. A trunnion there and a trunnion there. So they're spaced apart a lot more. 65 is still an excellent saw. And I got this one for, what was it, $125. And I got a free drum sander with it. The only problem was, as you can see here, it has a three-phase motor. And the way to deal with a three-phase motor in a residential shop is to run 240 volt to it. Like this, which is plugged into... 240 volt plug and outlet that I've put in there. And this will output three-phase. Maybe add some comments below as to what I can do to make it quieter. I think maybe it's a combination of this type of saw blade, which is a full kerf. It's still very sharp, but old carbide saw blade. Maybe in conjunction with this insert, and I'm pretty sure it has some bad bearings too that need replaced. So I want to make it quieter. Here's what it sounds like when I turn it on and off. Actually, I can move this a little bit closer so you can see. That's one advantage of a VFD as well. The stop time is very fast. I've tuned it to as low as it can go without going into over voltage protection, which is like 1.8 amps, I believe. No, not 1.8 amps, 1.8 seconds. So that's kind of option A. I want to replace the fence on this too, if this is the one that I decide to keep. Option 1 is, or option, who knows, option Zeta at this point, is a Unisaw that I have, and it's in really good condition, except for there's a crack in the base there, where somebody had tried welding on a caster set without realizing they can't weld cast iron very easily. So this needs fixed. Either I can fix it, or I might just get a whole new replacement base. They're like $100 on eBay. Or if somebody has one they want to send me, go for it. This is a 1940 Unisaw. You can tell because it has no vents on the door. This dust door here, it's solid, and then it has a solid base. The 1939 version of the saw had a 4-foot base. So that's how I know this is exactly a 1940 saw. Serial number J584. And now this saw is super quiet. It's only got a 1 horsepower 240 volt motor in it. Well, dual voltage. Right now it's also plugged into, over here, 240 as well. I also have 240 for my another VFD here, which is, again, not wired properly to my CNC router. But this one's really quiet, and I really like how quiet it is. So, barely any noise. I mean, this is almost a regular talking level of noise. But you can also tell how long it takes to spin down, which is kind of a safety issue. Whereas this one, much louder, much faster to turn on and off. All right. So, tell me what your guys' thoughts are on these two saws, which one I should keep. I don't know, I'm kind of leaning towards the Powermatic because it's it tilts to the left. So that means that the blade tilts this way. And it's a safer version of tilting and the Unisaw tilts the other way, so the blade tilts into the fence. And the problem with that is if you're trying to rip anything, it traps wood between the blade and the fence. You know, if it's angled over, you're creating a triangle. So that's not as safe. Yep. Let me know what you think. I think I've covered everything that is kind of maybe relevant to this video, as short as it is, and without an outline to begin with. All right, guys. Let me know. See you in the comments. I was thinking about this video before I uploaded it, and one of the things that I should probably make clear is that I'm not going to leave it like this. And I'm not even going to just leave it like this, but attached to that plate there. No, this is going to go in a proper enclosure with proper cable clamps around the cables so they can't pull out, like this one already has one kind of on there from when it was in the old box for the 3-phase connector. I should also add that I can't justify keeping both of these and putting them side by side. The problem is I don't have a very large shop. I'm standing in the corner of it here, and yeah, if I get rid of all this wood and whatever that shelving is, and that wood over there, and that shelving, and sell some of these planes, then I'll have maybe some more space. But even then, I need to fix the flooring first, because it has pretty serious issues. Oh look, open holes in the floor. So I can't keep both of them. I have to pick one. And I'm leaning towards the Powermatic because that has a safer blade orientation. And whichever one I do keep, I'm going to completely replace the fence with Incra makes a really nice micro adjust fence that is super repeatable, so I'm going to be going with that. Also, this fence, it feels kind of clunky, like you have to lift up to micro adjust like that, and you push down to clamp it. I guess that's kind of cool, but it is a little bit clunky. And then this is supposed to latch the other end of the fence, but it doesn't stick, because I assume that things are worn out in the cam, and then there's a push rod in there. So I want to redo that. Get a different table saw blade for it too, and a zero clearance insert. I'll make one of those probably on the CNC router. This is the box that came off of the Powermatic. It's got a momentary switch there, and then a 2-position or 3-position double throw switch, and some start and run capacitors in here. So it was hooked up in 3-phase. So it wasn't hooked up in 3-phase. The previous guy, he didn't quite know how to hook it up, which is, I guess, maybe part of the reason why I got it so cheap. Also because he didn't have 3-phase in his shop, and he was, he already has a commercial slider panel saw, so why does he need one of these? He does commercial woodworking. He doesn't care about a little cabinet saw like this. Since we're on the subject of voltages, this is 240 volt. This is 240 volt, single phase. This is 5 horsepower, so I have it going to a 50 amp plug. This is 3-phase. I have a VFD for it also, but I may be replacing it with a single phase version of this that has this on the other side of it. So I'm picking up one hopefully tomorrow, where the left side is that belt sander that you saw, same delta, and the right side is this. So it's like this and that other machine in one. This is also, you can get cheap woodworking tools, nice cheap woodworking tools. If they have 3 pH on the motor, that means it's 3-phase. So this 3/4 horsepower motor can be powered by a VFD that's only about $25. plus some extra wiring and connectors and stuff. And then you get a really cool tool out of it. Single phase, 110, 240 volt. Still need to hook this up here. It's supposed to be a welding project. I'm supposed to mount that there. It's going to fill in that hole. But whatever. Also, there's a... Where is it? Did she get it? I thought there was a golf ball in there. My daughter dropped a golf ball in there. She must have gotten it out. Don't worry, I don't leave this plugged in virtually ever because it's unsafe like that until I get it fixed. But I have a lot of wood that needs joining, and this is my only joiner, so I have to use it like that until I get it fixed. 120 volt. Again, while we're on this subject of voltages, I have these two guys. I have $60 total between them. Neither of them work. Three phase. Single phase. And then here's another one, single phase. I was wrong. I have two Powermatics, actually. This is the first one that I got. It's a dust collector with a draft guard, because when I'm working in here in front of the router, when it's cool, I don't want that blowing on me. There are some additional considerations if you're considering... Don't mind that, that's red paint. It's not blood. If you're considering a router table on your table saw, and you want to go with like Incra, which I just found out is short for incremental. So if you want like an Incra fence system with a combo router table, you cannot put the router table on the left side on the Powermatic. And you can't put it on the right side on the Delta because the motors stick out. So they offer this with two different versions. They have it on the left side like that, and they have one on the right side like that. So if you're looking at something like that, it goes in place of this wing, which would interfere with the motor here. So on the Powermatic, if you want the router table attachment, at least for the Incra, it has to go over here, or it would have to stick way out here, and I don't know that that system accommodates something sticking out so far on the left side of the saw. Same goes for the Delta. If it replaces the right side here, well, the motor's in the way, so that doesn't work. There's something else to consider. Also, I just found out, I was measuring things. So all Deltas and Craftsmans and Rigids generally are 27 inches deep. And the Powermatic is 28. So it's an inch deeper. But also, if we raise the arbor up all the way, and we get a measurement from the center of the arbor to the front edge of the saw, that's a little over 18 inches on the Powermatic. And on the Delta, it's like 17. So that extra inch in the front will allow you to cross-cut with a cross-cut jig, a miter jig, like this. You can cross-cut a little bit deeper wood. Well, I can't move that right now because it's in the way. But you could bring this further back and get a lot more stable if you're cross-cutting things that are deeper.